It is nice. And I did not follow this. I'm not into these sporty games, but anything that is a fuck you to the people that I hate pleases me. So, and fuck Argentina.
Well, if there's anybody in the Spanish community that we are extremely happy for, it is Javier Bardem, who made it a point to attend, I believe, all of the games, basically followed the team around the entire country, and of course was there at the Meadowlands. And I mean, if you think about recognizable faces in the United States and on the global scale that have been outspoken about Israel and the genocide against the Palestinians, Javier Bardem is as up there as anybody you could think of. And so for him to have this moment for the world is extremely gratifying. I'm going to attempt to read this in Spanish, see how good I can do.
I don't know. We'll...
Colin, blow it up a little, please.
Oh my God, look at how, oh my God.
Talk about happy.
First of all, look how huge this guy is, whoever this football player is. Because I'm sure he's somebody famous. I don't know, guys. But I know that Javier Bardem is tall.
Yes.
Javier Bardem is not short. He's over 6 feet tall.
Yeah, he's about 6'2".
Okay. So that's what I'm saying. It's like he's a tall guy.
Yeah. Un grupo de jugadores que representan la diversidad de España y el apoyo por el respeto a los derechos de colectivos y de pueblos que necesitan voz. So basically,
gracias por vuestro ejemplo de juego de equipo de unión infrequable como colectivo de elegancia y deportividad. Ese sí es el ejemplo que todos celebramos para los millones.
Would you like?
No, but it doesn't have it. I mean, I know.
Intentionally cut me off. I mean, was that the plan?
Oh, I thought you just didn't want to read the Spanish anymore.
No, I actually was just trying to explain to people what it is that we were reading. That's all I was trying to.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was trying to give people an idea of what he was actually saying, but I guess we'll just have to run through it and then we'll go over it.
Well, I know what he's saying.
Millones de niños en el mundo que esperan con ojos de ilusión y futuro. Gracias por hacernos sentir tan orgullosos de pertenecer al mismo país que también representáis. I can't see that, Colin. Gotta move.
You guys are the champions of the world.
Or the rightful champions of the world. Basically, what he's saying and said throughout this is they were an incredible example of collectivism for sport, for elegance. Their representation for the world is incredible in this moment. Mentions that their grupo, which is handsome. Yeah, very well deserved. And this is just one of many examples of what actually went down. Now, we do have some moments to share, but I think it is very important to understand that while Spain obviously has been at the forefront of speaking out, remember, Ireland was the first country to say that Israel was committing crimes against humanity and followed through as such through the International Criminal Court. The second country was Spain. So they've been on this from the beginning. And here is what Argentina's #1 fan had to say prior to the game.
לא תשתוק מול מי שתוקף אותנו. ספרד הכפישה את גיבורנו, את חיילי צה"ל, חיילי הצבא המוסרי ביותר בעולם. ולכן הנחיתי היום לסלק את נציגי ספרד ממרכז התיאום בקריית גת, לאחר שספרד בחרה שוב ושוב להתייצב נגד ישראל.
There has been a hot debate earlier today about whether or not, because evidently this fuck is planning on defying the mayor of New York City and coming to New York.
I would like him to do that. I would like that to happen. I think it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for Zoran, but I just don't see it getting to that point.
He's made it very clear that if he steps foot in New York's proper, he will have him arrested. That is his intention. So kudos to Zoran. I mean, listen, Zoran's been doing great work, and, you know, not going to say he doesn't have his flaws, but overall, he's definitely a net positive without question.
I would be shocked if what's-her-face, Tish, would arrest this person. I would be shocked.
Maybe this would be the opportunity to get Tish out of the position, because she might actually have to resign before she would do something like that.
Well, maybe, but I just don't see it getting that far. What I think is that he won't come.
I think so. Well,
if he thinks there's a chance of that, he won't come.
And we agree, David. Obviously, the lunacy of what sports has become is beyond the pale at this point. That being said, I think Mamdani is daring him to come. I think he's daring him. He's like, oh, you really think I wouldn't do it? I'll watch. He's daring him. He's like, say, come on. And if you don't come, you're a fucking coward. That's what he's telling.
מי שתוקף את מדינת ישראל במקום את משטרי הטרור, מי שעושה זאת, לא יהיה שותף שלנו לגבי עתיד האזור. אני לא מוכן לסבול את הצביעות הזאת ואת העוינות הזאת. אני לא מתכוון לאפשר לאף מדינה לנהל נגדנו מלחמה מדינית בלי לשלם על כך מחיר מיידי.
We're shaking in our boots, Milikowski. It's interesting watching him talk about hypocrisy. It's really, this to me almost presents like an Onion AI video, because it's so off the wall that this psychotic fuck is sitting here talking about Spain in some way to intimate that they are problematic. Yes, Spain's the problem.
Yeah, Spain did the entire world an incredible service, an incredible favor. And there's lots of clips. I mean, listen, there's a clip of Ben Gavir cheering on Argentina. There's
Good.
Of Netanyahu doing the same. And we're going to get to those raving lunatics in a minute. But there are moments in sports that capture the imagination of what's good in the world. And here's one of them.
Now, while I do not appreciate sporty games to the level that a lot of you might, I do appreciate very good-looking men running around in shorts. That I appreciate. So continue.
Yes, they certainly had their...
Seriously, I can get with this. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, how could you not? And I think I know, Colin, I need you to keep up on the clips as much as you can, because I want to make sure, I think I sent you, I don't know if I sent you the one with the Argentinian players not exactly being too happy about losing this match. In fact, they got pretty feisty about it, a little aggressive. Oh! You know, you look pretty good in that position, Messi, I have to tell you. You know, like when you bent over and kissed the fucking wall? That is never going to be forgotten. Ever.
Oh, that's Messi. I know the name, but like I wouldn't know him if I banged into him.
You know, the truth of the matter is this. He is one of the greatest, if not the greatest, to ever play the game. But all of that doesn't matter now, because the lasting image of him as a professional soccer player, as a professional football player internationally, this is it. It's over. His legacy has been completely tarnished because of his affiliation with Israel.
Good.
And embraces it wholeheartedly.
Well, the other team people were cuter anyway. The other boys were cuter. Go back to the other boys.
Oof. Let me tell you, the look of despair on his face, he really can't hide it. Yeah, it's a shame, Messi. And everything you ever did, and let me remind you, people who may not know this, but I do, because I'm in real estate. Do you know where Lionel Messi lives? Do you know where he lives? He lives in Broward County, Florida, because of course he does. because where else would he go? He would go to where the rich Zayos live, because that's what a lot of Argentinians are. That's what a lot of well, we call it Westenzuela, that whole enclave of.
You do realize that Venezuela and Argentina are separate countries, right?
They are.
They are. I'm seeing a whole bunch of people in the chat saying that they were like sore losers, and I'm curious if something in particular happened.
Yes, it did. I know I sent this to Colin, but I'm going to have to send it again. So just bear with me for one second.
So we have sore losers as well. So from my understanding, what you've been saying to me is that these entire games have been biased towards Ziohel and Argentina. And despite that, Spain won. Is that what I'm understanding? So these guys had all the benefits and all the advantages anyway, and they lost, and now they're pissed.
So here's what ended up happening. 5 minutes before the game-winning goal was scored, there was a goal that was scored by Spain, and they took it off the board. They claimed that there was they call it a yellow card, which is basically an infraction on a particular player. And if you watch the play again, and one of the reasons why a lot of people do not like men's soccer, in fact, a lot of people prefer women's soccer to men's soccer, is because there is a lot of flopping in men's soccer. They tend to over-exaggerate, act like they were shot out of a cannon, got hurt, etc. And
you're suggesting that men do not seem as, I don't know, hardy as the women, is what you're saying?
That's always been the reputation.
Anyone shocked?
No, definitely not in this case, because it has been suggested that Argentina in 2026 is one of the weakest teams to ever make the final. That the path that they were given was almost like rolling out the carpet. The competition was not legitimate in terms of what they should have had to go through until they got to the semifinals against England. And
so you're saying that the series was sort of stacked for them?
1,000%.
Okay.
And so the thing about England, as has always been the case of our British brethren, they are noted choke artists in the World Cup. This is going back decades. And so they had the lead late against Argentina, and then they managed to blow it. Fuck Israel, fuck Argentina. I like that. I can get with that very goodly. It's what we love about our audience. They're always so very correct.
I know.
Creative in that regard. So,
I know. I love our chat. You guys always have like really good stuff. I've used some of this stuff, and I always credit the chat.
Now, much like Israel, in the lame, sore loser bastards that they are, and we'll have plenty of that to get to this evening. This is the reaction right as the match concluded. It's called a match. Once the match concluded, this is what some of the Argentinian players started to do.
How much you want to bet that they're talking political shit down there?
1,000%. Someone probably went up to, this is what I think happened. This is my opinion.
Yeah.
But I think one of the players on Spain went up to one of the Argentinians and looked him right in the face and said, "Viva la Palestina." And it probably, again, they both speak Spanish. So you know they were speaking Spanish to each other. That's why not everybody's necessarily reporting what it was that they was actually conversing with. But you know that somebody probably said, "Free Palestine, fuck Israel, and fuck you." Someone probably said that, and that set them off. Hey, it's your problem, dude.
Yeah, I think it does seem that way from whatever I've ever seen in the past with soccer. They don't seem to be violent after matches. Like I have not seen that. I always thought it was much more. So that to me intimates that it probably was some sort of political confrontation and not about just being a sore loser. Although it could, who knows?
I mean, look, the whole world was watching. There's no question. There was no getting away from the fact that this was pure poetry in motion. This was Spain representing Palestine and Argentina literally representing Israel.
Football. But I mean, we do talk about American football here. And so I feel like I do know that football, what you're talking about, is football. I do know that. But if I don't make a distinction, I don't know. I know.
There has been reports repeatedly throughout the course. I mean, listen, FIFA is as corrupt to the teeth as any organization in the history of sport that has ever existed. And they have been very clear that anybody who's been watching the World Cup, and again, I've watched it to a degree, and what has been universally said amongst all neutral fans is that there has been a deliberate favoritism towards Argentina.
Shocking.
The entire time. So to say that there was this sort of home field advantage, if you will, that they had to go through, there's no question. But the sight, and again, we're not going to play it because it's silly. The sight of Trump first having to hand Spain the trophy, knowing that he was there. Let me tell you, I know we get into like superstitious suggestions about what is and what isn't regarding whether somebody really is the kiss of death. Let me tell you something. If Trump is rooting for you and he shows up to the arena to support your team, trust me when I tell you, bet the fucking farm on the other team. That is as good of a bet as you're ever going to get because he really is the kiss of death. If he's rooting for you, that means you're going to lose. Like I am as convinced of that as anything. Egypt should have been in the final. Egypt was robbed of their right to move on. And the coach on Egypt did not mince words regarding Palestine and Israel. There are good people out there. In fact, the whole world is rejecting the Zionist cause, as you know. Now, with that being said, if you think that the Argentinian players fucked up, why don't you take a gander at what the Argentinian fans in Times Square were like, who didn't actually get to attend the game, but they were, a few miles away, big crowd in New York City.
Where was this game?
It was at the Meadowlands.
Oh.
Here's how some of them reacted when this went down.
He's raising a flag saying, let's learn to get along. Learn to get along. It's freedom. Everybody's here. It's a protected speech. You don't like it, write a congressman.
Yeah, but that won't work, right? I mean, thank you for the advice, Pig, but it won't work.
You got to give credit to a member of the NYPD who basically said, your bullshit ain't working here. Like, I ain't got time for that shit. And the one thing I could tell you from personal experience with the NYPD, whether anybody here can speak to this, David Hunter or anybody else who's in New York, generally speaking, and I'm talking New York City police officers, NYPD in New York City in general don't like dealing with petty shit. They don't waste their time on that stuff. So when somebody like this Argentinian fruitcake decides to start giving him an earful about, he's waving that flag and I don't feel safe around it, he told him to go fuck himself, which is what everyone should do. Every last one of these sons of bitches is going to have to eat it for a long time.
So where are they? In Times Square?
Mm-hmm.
So this is just people celebrating who just watched it on the screen, I guess, is what we're...
Yeah. And they don't like it. Oh, I know. They're so sad. They're so sad when somebody shows up with a Palestinian flag. I tell you, they're going to need some serious therapeutic sessions to get over this. Oh, Lord.
I understand that, but you understand what you're doing is inflammatory, so you have to understand where they're coming from.
Are you fucking crazy? You understand that this is inflammatory. I think that I think what has happened is that they've come under this illusion that even though we're becoming somewhat of a lawless society right now, at least for the elites anyway, that somehow they make the rules. And if they get upset and they tell you to go arrest somebody because I'm a Zio bastard and I don't want to see them waving that flag because it offends me.
It's so scary.
Well,
let this finish.
It really is a beautiful flag when you think about it. Now,
well, the fact that it pisses people off to me is just a bonus.
And we'll conclude on this note. This was Gaza City right after Spain won the cup. Just
they know what's up. They know who's who.
Yeah. Just look at that image. Look at the power of this image. This image is showing you the Spain flag flying amongst all the rubble, amongst all of the destruction, what they've done to these people, what they have done to this culture, what they have done to humanity. In some respects, that flag, that's like the Soviet Union flag flying over Berlin. That they may not have their victory this moment in terms of being done with Israel altogether, but there is something inherently special and cathartic for the Palestinians to have this moment, to know that Spain was fighting on their behalf.
I mean, think about that for a second, like how the juxtaposition of them holding this flag versus the guy in Times Square holding the Palestinian flag and the interconnectedness.
Yeah.
It's all connected. But I don't think anyone's we've never seen it interconnected as much as we're seeing it now.
Well, not only that, but what you have to remember is that we have always said this has always been, and it always will be, a class war. And so you have, on the one hand, the spoiled, wealthy Argentinians losing their collective shit because somebody was waving a Palestinian flag. Then you go to Gaza City, in the ruins, place where people are living in tents and are dealing with famine and disease. You know, the chickenpox outbreak that's going on there right now that's killing babies. And yet for one moment in time, for just one shining moment in time, they can forget that they're living in hell on earth. That we know that this is something that Spain did for humanity, because this is a massive PR hit for Israel. Everyone knows that that's what it is. In fact, Argentina and Israel, because they're one and the same now as far as I'm concerned, they would have been better off losing in an earlier round. This was the most lucrative and watched sporting event ever. And there is no disconnecting these two elements. Zero.
Really? More than like Super Bowls and stuff? This game?
This particular match made more money than any sporting event in history. Which really goes to show you how big of a deal it really is, because at the end of the day, American football is still American football. This is international football. So the entire world, the global South, multiple billion people saw this. And if you think,
I know that soccer is bigger worldwide. I know that. I'm talking about this particular event televised versus a Super Bowl televised in terms of that viewership. So no, I do know soccer is much more popular globally. Absolutely. I just wasn't, and I don't know that any FIFA games have outperformed the Super Bowl in terms of viewership. I don't know the statistics.
According to Algerian, and if you are in Algeria, God bless, 2.1 billion people witnessed this. That's incredible.
يلعب الكرة ماكاليستر يحصل كرة لصالح يامال.
Look what they did to that place. Let that be an image that you can hold onto tightly for a long time. Viva España, viva la Palestina. Fuck Israel and free Palestine.